If God wanted, God could have made all of us one single community. But out of a divine design, God chose to create diversity, variations in languages, in colors, gave us different religions, to each community a law and a way of life, made us into nations and tribes, men and women, for one main reason, says the Quran.
It's like all religions have their particular truths that are true for members of that faith. And they have universal truths. And the universal truths are true for everyone.
You and me are different because the circumstances of our lives are different. We believe different things, we have different lifestyles, we have different cultures, different colors of skins, different genders, different social classes. Everything is different. And we stay there. We are unable to see the connection, which is the dignity that is there, our human dignity.
In every family, we cannot choose who our brothers and sisters will be. We have to live with who already exists. And so that's the difficulty, right? And that's the beauty of it.
The Quran teaches that it was God's will that there be diversity. The Quran says that if God would have so willed, He could have made everyone the same people, of the same creed. But it was His will that there be diversity, so that He may test us in what He has given us.
The Quran says we are here to come to know the other. How can I truly create the environment where I truly, notwithstanding the differences, whether it's religious, political, cultural, racial, how can I truly come and get to know the other on a human level? Because if I do, it is very difficult, no matter what our difference is, to dehumanize or to demonize the other.
We have to find out from other people how they want to be treated, because in different cultures, people treat each other differently. And they want to be treated perhaps differently. And so it would be important for us to really take the time to ask others from different cultures, what is the way that you understand being respectfully treated?
A lot of people think that our religious differences drive us apart, and if we could just have everybody be part of the same religion, everything would be fine. I actually don't think that's true. I think what drives us apart is not our differences, it's something we all have in common. We tend to build an identity among us by building hostility toward them. If we learn to see differentness not as a threat but as a gift, I think that starts to change.
We are serving the same God, but somehow people get their beliefs about God distorted. Sometimes by training, sometimes it's by indoctrination, by leaders who are hungry for power and control over others. So they indoctrinate. They put doctrines that are false, that are not what the religion teaches, in the name of religion.
We have different points of view because one religion says that they have the truth and no other one does. But truth is elusive. What you say, truth is also personal. What you believe is the truth is not what I believe as the truth. We are all different, so we all have different truths. So in Buddhism, we say truth is just a point of view from someone. What I think of God might be something totally different than you think of God. Are you wrong and I'm right? No. In Buddhism, we are both right.
But religion on itself doesn't really create conflict. What happens is that people use religion either to amplify an existing conflict or to try to reduce existing conflicts. And so what we try to do in Kids for Peace is to say, you know, here, especially in our work in Jerusalem, where religion is so much a part of the conflict, we reject that. We say that religion doesn't have to be part of the conflict, and that the three faiths that we work with, Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, that they all come from a common heritage, that they all have a lot of shared beliefs and traditions and values, and that when we understand that shared heritage and when we understand the commonalities that exist between them, that actually can be a force for bringing people together and for working towards peace and justice, instead of saying, you know, instead of emphasizing and focusing on the differences that exist between them.
In a way that will not exclude or create conflict. Because religious plurality is not a problem. The problem is when we develop some kind of idolatry. Let me define the term. When you worship something which is not God as God, then you have idolatry. The plurality is good, it is accepted. The Bhagavad Gita explains that people will have tendencies to approach God in different ways, but the way through which you approach Him is not a problem. People may approach from different sides, from different angles, through different paths. And these paths, they don't need to be conflictive. They can be uniting in the common goal.
Unfortunately, we are still in a time where we are more worried about our differences than our commonalities. But I think you can start to see a great movement of great people that are more interested in commonalities and how we come together. So the challenge now is, as we walk through the streets, how can we divest ourselves from all these insecurities, these worries that we have, and just truly accept other people as our equal.
One of the questions is, will we ever live in harmony on the face of the earth? And it says yes, when the moral sense is developed inside each and every one of us. Morality is going to vary between you and me. What I may believe it to be right today, tomorrow may change as I go through my own experiences, through my own existence, and it will change for you as well. Cultures will impose their own beliefs, thus affecting the way that people perceive religion and faith.
You have your way, I have my way. If it works for you to help you be a better human being, to help you be happier, to help you fulfill yourself, wonderful. I'd hope that you respect that my tradition, my belief helps me do that too. But on a spiritual level, the spiritual truths are shared truths. And spiritual awareness holds the potential for allowing us to collaborate in a more effective way to solve the problems, the world's problems that need all of us to work on. None of us alone can do it. No religion alone can do it. No nationality alone can do it. So I see spirituality as one of the foundations, one of the grounds on which that greater collaboration can be based.
If we believe that we are all created by God, and in the process of the create is equal for everyone, although we are still considered simple and ignorant, meaning without knowledge, without experience, we are all brothers and sisters. But in the process of evolution and in the acquisition of a new faculty, for example, of free will, the capacity to make choice, then we take different pathway in life. But this doesn't mean that we are not considered brothers and sisters. We are all children of the same Creator.
The question of whether we are brothers is, to me, one of the most important questions. Every living human being is a descendant of some people who lived in South Africa maybe 130 to 200,000 years ago. We are all related. We come from the same family tree, not only with other people, but we're also, science tells us, and the creation story tells us, we're all related with all living things. So the rediscovery of our relatedness and our connectedness, I think, are deeply, deeply important.
Yes, we're all brothers. There's no question about it. I know it in my heart, and if I didn't know it, my tradition teaches the following. So why is it that according to Jewish tradition and Muslim and Christian tradition, that humanity starts with a single set of parents, Adam v'Chava, Adam and Eve? It's so that no one can say, my parents are better than your parents. We all, according to all of our traditions, come from the same parents, Adam v'Chava. So we're all brothers and sisters. Doesn't mean brothers and sisters don't fight. We do. But since we're brothers and sisters, we have an obligation. It's mitzvah in my tradition. We have an obligation to figure out how to resolve our differences without fighting.
All of us working for the same boss. We're just in different departments. You know, there's a sales department, there's a marketing department, there's a finance development department, there's the regional department, and we all think, sometimes we get trapped in our day-to-day that we're a little bit better than everybody else. But at the end of the day, what really matters is that we all work for the same boss. As Shakespeare wrote, if you prick us, do we not bleed? We're all hurt. We're all searching for happiness. So it makes sense. Whether you take that road or you take that road, it makes very little difference. So we do believe fundamentally that we're all brothers and sisters.
But we are all connected to other animals too, even plants. But not only are we all brothers in humanity, we are all brothers with the rest of life on earth.
The Apostle Paul, in one of his letters to a church, said, "To the Jews I'm a Jew, to the Greeks I'm a Greek, to the slave I am a slave, to the free I'm free, to the male I'm a male, to the female I'm a female." So that all people are, he is something to all. And he says, imitate him as he imitated Christ. And so there's this chain that we're supposed to imitate Paul as Paul imitated Christ. And Christ, who is he? He's the Son of God, who bears the closest resemblance to God because he's the actual Son of God. And so we're all made in the image of God, but I think that far down the chain we have to realize that being made in the image also means we need to actively imitate.
Even those that I'd like to throw out of the family house or the family tree, we too are brothers and sisters. I am a brother and to those who are doing really well in the world, and I'm also a brother to those who are suffering in the world at this moment. And my responsibility is actually to all of them.
Every single person in the world, more than 7 billion people, we are all brothers and sisters of each other. Because each one of us, we have a divine essence. Because we have this divine essence, this divine particle within, which is our source, our essence.
We're all God's children, we're all God's creation, we're all connected to one another in a way that can never be broken.
In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that he's the father of all living creatures. So I have to extend my brotherhood not only to the Christians and the Muslims and the whatever religion you can find on the surface of the earth, but we have to extend that brotherhood also to animals, to plants, because they're also creatures of the same Father. So if I have a Father in common with other people, those who are born of the same Father, they are brothers. They may know it, they may not know it, they may like it or not, but they're brothers.
I think that religion has an important role to play in not only calling us to our higher selves, but for helping us have the confidence in ourselves to then go beyond our own family, our own communities of faith, to understanding and accepting others, finding the common ground upon which we can build for the common good.
A Buddhist, a Muslim, a Jewish, a Christian from another denomination, we will be able to engage in interreligious dialogue and work with others only if they have the opportunity and the possibility and the willingness to embrace their own identity. That all religions have pieces of light and pieces of truth, that we need each other.
So it is very important to have interfaith dialogue, because you will see the person who eats, talks, and thinks different than you is just the same as you.
So rather than limiting God's work and limiting the ways that God can be at work in the world, our hope is that by building bridges with others, we can glimpse and see how God is a part of even our brothers and sisters of different faith traditions.
In Latin comes from re-lig. Lig is like the word ligament. Lig means to bind together. So religion is about reconnecting us together again, not severing our relationships and cutting us apart.
But one of the things that we can all come into agreement is that the golden rule, this one law, abides for everybody, regardless of where we're from, what language we speak, the color of our skin, or the religion that we cultivate within ourselves. One of the greatest things that we can all come into agreement with is that if the golden rule truly is the one law to abide by, if we can imagine how we can affect the very world we live in by living in accordance with it, we can see wars diminishing, disappearing from the face of the earth, thus resulting from the planet, the kind of world we wish not only for ourselves, but for the future generations that are coming, that are here, as a matter of fact, already. So this is really important for all of us. An open dialogue with compassion, with understanding, respect and tolerance for the differences that exist between us.
The goal for me of awakening to spirituality is the goal of awakening more clearly to that shared reality, so that we don't look at it as the golden rule, we look at it as a golden reality. The truth of it is we are all one.
I truly believe that every time we get together, it's an act of peace, of world peace. I really do.
And then there's a commandment. Strive as if in a race in doing what is virtuous. Strive as if you're in a race with other communities, faith communities, ethnic communities. Strive as if you're in a race in doing the good. Ultimately, you will return to God and He'll tell you about the differences that you had. But so our commandment is an interfaith commandment. Work together on the common good. Understand and know one another, find the common ground, and work together on that. Those are our marching orders as Muslims. And we don't always, we're not always as a Muslim community aware of them, but we need to emphasize that more, because I think this is one step that we can take towards creating a more harmonious future.
And we want to continue to do that in the future. We want to continue to engage in interfaith dialogue and initiative. Independent of what your beliefs are, your religious affiliation is, we're still brothers and sisters. That is a connecting point for each one of us. Universal truths that we can step out of our own religious belief system and go and listen to someone give a talk on Buddhism, and we could say, that's very similar to Spiritism. Or if you are a Catholic, you can go and listen to a Jewish talk and you think, yes, we have some of that in Catholicism. So there are uniting factors. So we begin to develop a deeper understanding. And for those who truly dive deep into the teachings, we see that it's all about this universality of bringing people together, and that is important. It's not important to focus on the areas in which we diverge.
I hope that in the future our Christian tradition will be a living tradition and be inspired by the past to keep thinking and changing and growing.
We want to be happy. We want to feel wholesome. We want to feel closer to the Creator. We want to evolve. Religion has as its main objective connect the creature to the Creator, religare, to establish that connection. Religiousness differs from religion. There are religions that do not promote religiousness, that which allows the being to feel connection to the Creator, that allows the being to want to be a better person.
We believe in reincarnation. And so reincarnation is also an important tool here, because it also tells me that today I could be a Christian because I was born in this part of the world, but tomorrow I might be reborn in a part of the world where Christianity has not taken strong hold, so I might not be Christian. Does that mean that I'm not saved? Absolutely not. How could God prefer some over others? Even if parents don't prefer some kids over the others, right? And God, who is able to love a lot more than we are, has no chosen few. And so we have to necessarily come to the realization that we are all together.
I invite you to do it through whatever tradition is holy and is meaningful for you. But tradition is a path to a shared universal. And anytime any path thinks it owns the universal, then we're all in trouble. And the shared universal is a shared universal. It's us. It's ours. It's who we are. And when we awaken to the one we are, I think we'll heal the world.
A dog can recognize his master no matter what kind of clothes the master is wearing. So if I cannot recognize God in what he says, just because he's depicting God in a different dress, then I have a lot to learn from the dogs.
I actually think this is at the core of Jesus' teaching. I think Muhammad taught this. I think this is deeply embedded in the best of Jewish tradition, Hindu tradition, Buddhist tradition, where we come to realize that the other is my brother, where we come to realize that we all have different gifts that we bring to humanity.
Having this personal relationship with God, believing in God and serving God, this together with involvement in a community, involvement in volunteering and just worshiping as a group, those together are very important. You see, they feed off of each other. They feed off of each other, because a person who has a strong relationship with God, they're going to want to be around other people who are believing and worshiping. And if somebody is believing and worshiping, then that will help them personally have a stronger belief and prayer life, and will cause them to want to read and study the scriptures to better understand these things. So it's these two things working together, the vertical and the horizontal. Together is where the power is.
interfaith work is really important. And interfaith work doesn't mean that we take all the religions and pour them into a pot and melt them down into something not very delicious. I think it's important. I think what interfaith is really about is coming to understand and appreciate our different traditions while being strong in whatever my tradition is.
When I look at the young people that we work with in Kids for Peace, both in North America and also in Israel and Palestine, religion is a really important part of their lives, and I think that it helps to provide a set of values and a set of morals and ethics that can guide them in their lives, and a desire to make the world a better place that I think for a lot of them comes from their faith background and from growing up in their church or their mosque or their synagogue.
I feel very passionate about, again, it's being present with other people and learning from them. It's my small way of reaching out to the Buddhist in India, or someone who might believe that the world is constructed differently than I do, but we are all human beings.
These kinds of programs and service are part of living a life grounded in faith. As it has been wisely pointed out, if believers of different faith traditions cannot get along with one another, what hope is there for humanity?
And we learn together. We get to know each other, we're friends, but we also learn from each other and learn to see the world from each other's perspectives. And I think it's certainly been enormously helpful in my own faith journey. So I believe more and more of that can help people around the world to build those necessary bridges.
This is also deeply important to me as a Christian, because one of Jesus' most important and far-reaching teachings is that, well, here's how he said it. You've heard it said, love your neighbor, hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemy. He says, you should be like God. God lets the rain and the sun fall on the good and the evil alike. He's basically saying, stop dividing people into the good people you like and the bad people you hate, or the people who are like us that you like and the people who are different that you hate. He says, God loves everybody, no exceptions. You should love everybody, no exceptions.
And now I am cherishing this Master Jesus. But we see many examples. We see Buddha, we see like Muhammad bringing message of get together. Understand that there is only one objective in life. It's loving one another as we love ourselves.
In our scriptures it says that in this age of iron, there's no other way except chanting the names of God. That you found in many scriptures, that glorifying the name of God will save everyone, also can unite all religions, because everyone will agree with this point. It's the most easy method of uniting religions, because all the scriptures recommend that we glorify the name of God.
But to reach that essence, we have to do what we all avoid. And what is that? Is something which every religion says, please do it. Become more Jesus-like, become more Allah-like, become more Buddha-like, become more Krishna-like, become more Elohim-like. What does that mean in practical terms? It means I have to do, as a Muslim, what the Quran says, transform the 3 stages of my ego, open up my heart, and get to know the other on a human level, and then engage really in what is called serving God's creation.
At the end of the day, we are all brothers and sisters, created by the same God. And not one faith has the full interpretation and the full understanding of God. And so we must be open to learning from others so that maybe one day we can finally arrive at the complete picture of who God is.
There is no one singular religion that can fully embrace the mystery of who God is and what the kingdom of God is. That's the risk of diversity. And that's the risk of engaging in interreligious dialogue with others.
All these different religions, all these songs, it's really one song.